So what are the suggestions you want to give for someone who is starting their fitness journey?
If it's a new person or if you're restarting, especially now after the lockdown, we've seen a lot of them have self-isolated themselves.
But what about people who have been following YouTube videos or some online coaches?
A video designed on YouTube these are professional fitness athletes.
Why people stop working out? There might be other reasons too, and injury being the biggest.
Without understanding the word, without understanding alphabets, you're directly going into sentence writing.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಪ್ರಜಾವಾಹಿನಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾನು ಅರ್ಚನಾ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಫಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಇಂಜುರಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಫಾರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಚಾಲೆಂಜ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಫಿಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟುಡೇ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ Rohit Krishnachar to speak about fitness and also the injury management, which is the biggest hurdle. Rohit has been in fitness industry for over 9 years and has been certified in various modules, and few of them are rehab trainer, TRX, aquaerobics, Pilates and kinesiology taping. He is also master and advanced trainer from Proton Fitness Academy. By managing different health clubs, he has the understanding and experience of operations and training. Currently, the founder of Optimized Fitness, which manages training and injury management for athletes who are training for various state, national and international sports. Today, he is with us to speak about the do's and don'ts in the workout space and which might lead to injury, and he is here as a rehab trainer to be the savior for all the aspiring people to have fitness as their goal in 2021. Namaskara sir, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So what are the suggestions you want to give for someone who is starting their fitness journey?
So first off, the New Year trend for us in any gym goer would be New Year is my day to start the journey. And if it's a new person or if you're restarting, especially now after the lockdown, we've seen a lot of them have self-isolated themselves and they've not stepped out or completely forgotten about their fitness journey. So now is a good time to start, but here's where I call it be careful. Don't start off with a hype and don't start off with something that is done by professionals at a different level. Start slow. So I would definitely start off, most people when they come into a gym, is to do a basic circuit. Get to understand your body, let it move in the most basic of movements. Then start lifting heavy. Your body will still respond, right? You've sat for so long and then now you're giving some kind of activity. You will see a change. The goal should be a long-term project rather than a short-term hype that happens.
How was 2020 for you and what are you looking forward in 2021?
2020 actually, like I have had, like most people say it's bad. For me, it's been really great. One, because it's given me another complete diverse opportunity. I've started online training. We've been working on a certification program. We're doing a lot of other things in addition to that. And I'm having great results with my clients. Simply because the initial period at least, we didn't have Swiggy, we didn't have Zomato, and I'm not putting them down. But what happens is the convenience in which we order food. So now what they were doing was cook at home. They knew what they were eating and they weren't going out regularly to buy their refills of their snacks and sugary treats. So we saw some brilliant results in this past year. And I feel most people who've kept active have seen that their results are improving. Any day taking one step is better than just sitting.
But people having coaches like you have been benefiting. But what about people who have been following YouTube videos or some online coaches where they're not very well equipped to understand what the coach wants to deliver?
This is a brilliant question. So what happens with a video designed on YouTube or these are professional fitness athletes. Some of them YouTubers. They might understand their body, but it's a very general system, right? What you need to look at is how does it fit your program. If you've never worked out, if you're overweight and you start off with a HIIT program, you're gonna get hurt. You have weight that is already loading your knee and your ankle. Your hip is already there. You've been sitting for so long. Your prime mover, your glute is not working. So when you start a movement, you will start seeing cramps, catches. All of those issues are going to pop up. So My understanding with people generally is start slow. Even the smallest bit that you do will give you results. And this is something that I've always told my clients. If you want results, put in the least effort, get the maximum benefit. Simple logic is this. Now, if I'm lifting 100 kgs today, okay, that is the maximum that I can lift. I can improve maybe to 150 over a year, 2 years, or 3 years. But if I were to start with that, where do I progress from there? But if I start with the most basic and I get brilliant results with that, then I can step it up. Then I have some amount of progression. But if I start with something very intense, how do I take it forward? This is something that most people need to understand. And when you start small, you give your body enough time to understand the movement, you build muscle memory. So the movement becomes natural. Whereas when you start heavy, you start off with a movement that is not suited for you. You are going to cheat in the initial stages. So why not start small and then build up on that? You will have better posture, you would have better understanding of the muscle, you would move better. So
I think
you're
the
going to stay injury-free.
understanding comes a little later.
Exactly.
The initial challenge is to just go get fit in a month or two. The New Year resolutions are always like, I'm going to get fit this year.
Honestly speaking, most gyms, I think, see the maximum number of business in January, then it drops down. June again, Women's Day, we have another bunch of people joining, and then it's gone again. So sustenance is something that's lacking in the fitness industry. We do not see people continuing on for months, years. To build a habit, it takes about 90 days. Doing something for about 21 days will just register that you need to start an activity. It takes about 90 days to break a habit and start something new, right? So anytime, either if it's starting something or quitting something, you need about 90 days for your body to understand and give up on that. Simple thing, if you want to give up on sugar, if you don't do it for about 90 days, you will see that you'll have that craving again. But you try and keep it for about 90 days, your body will automatically say, okay, I'm good, I don't have that taste. Your taste buds change. So everything in the body changes the same way. So that is something that I feel people need to understand.
So consistency is definitely an important thing, but that's not the only reason why people stop working out. There might be other reasons too, and injury being the biggest.
Yeah, again, we go back to the same point. When you are a beginner, let's say you're a school kid, you don't know how to, you don't know the alphabets. How will you make a sentence, right? If I give you a test based off grammar, would you be able to do it, right? Here, without understanding the word, without understanding alphabets, you're directly going into sentence writing. So
That's so basically explained.
So how would you pass? You are leading yourself to failure. So the thing that I would say is understand your body. If you're someone who's new, or if you're someone who's not worked out for about 3 months, I would say 3 months, because that is the period that the body starts changing. The muscle drops after a month itself. Flexibility loss happens after a week. So if you try this out, anyone who's worked out, don't work out for a week, go back and try lifting the same weight. You will find it difficult. Yes, within the week, you will see a different change. Now, coming back to this topic, a lot of people say, well, my friend didn't work out for 6 months. He came back and he had a transformation within 3 months. Again, this comes back to muscle memory and how your body is adapted. So if you've ever achieved a six-pack or a complete ripped format in your body, coming back to that template is very easy. So your body already has the muscle memory. It knows the movement. It knows how it should look like. It's like a mold. It's already there inside. It may be that you've layered it up with some fat, but how you get rid of that and you'll see the transformation. So do not judge by what you would see as a transformation from someone else. Understand your body. So usually with new clients or someone who's coming back, start with a circuit. Try doing more repetitions, lesser weight. Let the body move the way it's supposed to move. Concentrate on your breathing. See how that feels. Next day, are you really, really sore? If you're really sore, cut down. See how your nutrition is. Increase your protein intake. these are basic things that you can look at. Are you cramping in between your workout? That means that your water intake might be low, your magnesium intake might be low. So all of these things come into matter, right? So when we start off new, I would definitely say take it easy for the first week. If you have no soreness, the next week maybe add another set. It'll take you a little longer, but it'll make sure that you sustain it for a longer period. If I get sore, so if this is something that we've had, one new client comes in, and if I give him a training program which he's sore, he's never worked out in his life, if he gets sore the next day, we've seen this, that they will shy away from the gym for the rest of their lives. They will, it's the first impression, right? First impression always matters. And when you're saying, it's causing me pain and discomfort, I shouldn't be doing this. Your body is literally telling you, I shouldn't be doing this. So stay away from that.
So
and you will.
What are the major mistakes people usually commit?
So the first thing that I would say is, do not exceed 30 minutes when you start off. Do not run. The first thing that you shouldn't do is run. First, learn how to walk. Build duration. So everyone's like, I'm going to do cardio, and they start off 10-kilometer runs within the first week. Your body is not designed for that as yet. It will learn and adapt. So what most clients that I start off with, the first thing that I say is 30 minutes of a walk. Keep the pace at such that you're able to have a conversation, but it shouldn't be like, what are you doing? You should actually put in a little bit, like slightly out of breath. If you have a heart rate monitor, anywhere between 100 to 130, depending on the age, that is the heart rate you would want to look at. Okay. Second part of it is when to do it, right? Each person has a different body type. Some people are designed, they're nocturnal. They work best in the evening. Some work best in the mornings. Again, depends on your lifestyle. If you're someone who works on US timings, I cannot tell you wake up in the morning and start working out. Find the time that suits you the best. Find a time that you can stick to. Okay? Second, make a calendar. Jot that time. Do not commit to anything else in that time. That is your time, that is supposed to be for you. You will see that you will continue on. Third, when you start working out, start slow. It's not the weight that you lift, it's the way that you move. If you're not able to do your body weight exercises, why are you going and lifting weights? If you're not able to lift your own body weight, what are you doing with weights? So start with body weight. Slowly progress. There are certain things that you cannot. So you might ask, okay, first day I cannot go do a pull-up. Start with something like an inverted row. Start with something like a TRX row. You progress from there. If you can't do a push-up, do a knee push-up, do a wall push-up. Start from there. That way you have the confidence that you'll be able to continue and you're going to be injury free. That's the main thing
People
that I
that's
feel.
what complain that the first time I picked weights, it's like, oh, you enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
You are like, it's hard on your body. So how does that work?
So injuries, again, now it depends. Now, especially after this period we've seen a lot of people sitting. Like either we're sitting here or we're just lying down. The couch has basically gone into a sleeping bag, or even this, just sitting this way. Your posture by itself changes completely, right? Comfort level changes. The way you're sitting, if you're sitting one leg higher, so it's basically so your back is these two pieces, right? Now if I'm sitting this way, this muscle becomes stronger or tighter, and this is stretched out constantly. So now even if I stand, this is how I'm going to be standing, right? So if I straighten that, it's an effort on this muscle because it's not used to that. This one feels tight, so you're automatically changing the way you move. So if there's a muscle that's tight, your limb length also changes. Your bone structure is the same, but imagine your muscle is pulling it up like this, okay? Imagine you're walking on heels, one heel breaks. How do you feel, how uncomfortable is it to walk? You're
can't
you're
balance
moving,
your
yeah.
body.
It's the same way that it happens with your body. But because it happens over a duration of time, you will see that it's not evident.
It happens gradually.
Gradually. Like if you have someone at home and they've lost weight, but you've been seeing them every single day, You're like, hey, yaar, not much of a change. But then someone else sees you and you're like, wow, you look so different. Because you've given that time. You've not seen them for a long time. So that's something that I feel the first part should be you coming back and seeing how you stand, how you're sitting. Are you moving enough? The first part of fitness would be your regular life. You're talking about 1 hour in the gym. I would suggest look at the 23 hours that's left. The 1 hour in the gym will happen somehow or the other that you can force yourself. But the other 23 hours is what matters, right? So I would start you off with moving every hour. So if you're someone who are at a desk, today everything's gotten online. Your meetings are online. If you're doing a vocal call, if you're just doing a voice call, walk. Take the call. Walk. By 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm usually done with about 11 to 10 to about 15,000 steps in the morning. Just because I take my calls on a walk. I'm done. That's if you have a busy schedule and you say I don't have time, that's the first step. Start walking. Add in that extra burn. Second, if you're at home, stand. Don't sit for too long. So if you have a desk job, raise it up. Stand.
Stand and work.
Standing burns more calories than just sitting down.
Is this what you teach? You being a rehab trainer,
This is what I
focus-
start with. This is
Okay.
what I start with. So, see, when you talk about rehab, I am not a physiotherapist, nor am I a doctor. What I teach is movement. What I teach is how your body should be. It's individual, right? There is a basic structure to the human anatomy. Limb length is there, your hip is there, your bones are there. How does it sit? How is it supposed to move? Rehab is all about bringing you back to that capacity, right? So you have something which you have not been able to do for a while. How do you bring that person? That is rehab. In the simplest of terms, what I do is that I work with people to bring them back to their original movement, what you're designed to do, and not what you are become.
Which forcefully you have become unknowing in the process.
It's just that you start building up on good habits to change. You cannot do it in an hour's time. It has to be a lifestyle change, right? Now, most people who join a gym for weight loss is for, what is it? Weight loss. Second thing is, I want a six-pack, a transformation. How many people are joining for health reasons? We're talking about a minority here, right? The 16 to 25 category is one, 25 to 30 is another category, 30 to 35 is a different category, 35 to 40 is a different category. So it goes on. Each category, the requirements change, right? So if I'm talking about someone who is coming into me at the age of 14 or even younger, and parents say, oh my God, my kids cannot do weights, my kids cannot do this. An Olympic athlete starts at the age of 9 with weights. Are you trying to tell me an Olympic athlete is not tall? He's short, he doesn't have a good structure, he or she doesn't have a good structure? No. It's designed in a way that will suit you. So each age group is required, right? So with women, let's separate men and women, right? Men and women
Ideally, women would prefer doing a cardio session than a weight training session.
Exactly, correct. And there's another part. Women want to do lower body more than upper body work. Men want to do upper body, they want to bulk up on the upper body. Lower body is forgotten, chicken legs. So what happens in this aspect? So if you look at anatomy wise, we don't have too much of a difference. Muscle structure is the same, movement is the same, right? There is some amount of internal structure that changes, like your pelvic floor changes for a woman. But having said that, it's still the same muscles, right? Very few anatomical changes are there. So workout for either gender should be similar. Here's something that women tend to have stronger legs. Okay, you're designed for that. Men tend to have a slightly stronger upper body. It might have been because of evolution, the way things are. We've developed it that way. So what should you be doing? If you already have something strong, work on the weaker aspect of it, right? So I would say work on your weakest aspect, make that your strongest aspect. That's when you will start seeing changes. So if you continue doing, it's like the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer, you can work on it.
True.
No one's stopping you. You have to become better.
So as you said, we are all working on getting the stronger part, the strongest. So how do we draw a balance in the process of not just working only on the stronger part and recover from the injuries by strengthening the other parts of the body.
When you look at aspect, you mentioned earlier that women love a cardio-based workout, right? Men love a strength-based workout. Now the balance comes in over there. Strength, your muscle is the only age-reversible organ in your body, right? So if you are at 50, your muscle can still look like when it was at its 30s. It's the only age-reversible organ. So what I would start you off with, if you're doing cardio, now your body adapts to each and every training. In 3 months, if you look at a marathon runner who's only doing marathon, you will see that their muscle mass actually starts dropping. Okay, this is for a requirement. The body understands that the person needs to last for a longer duration. He needs to be able to push his body. So it slowly starts dropping muscle because muscle consumes more energy, right? Now if you look at a strength guy, if you look at a big bodybuilder, you ask him to run, 5 minutes he's out. That's the adaptation that happens. So for a layman, it's always a balance between these two. Women especially need to do strength training. After the age of 25, 30, you start seeing that the muscle mass you lose can be anywhere between a pound a year to a bigger number as well. If we've been sitting all this
But
while.
the conditioning is as such that if you start weight training, you will fall sick or you will be injured.
Exactly.
So
Again, I come back to the topic of movement. So these are 3 things. You have to have 5 elements: strength, cardio, flexibility, basic understanding of motion, and mobility. Now flexibility and mobility are 2 different aspects. Now, am I able to stretch? This is my flexibility. Am I able to move it in the right range of motion? Am I able to lift my arm up in a full circumduction? Is that happening? That is mobility. So when you combine all these things, your injuries are going to be at its most minimal, right? Now let's say if I'm doing a strength training routine, I worked on my chest. The moment I'm done with that, I need to make sure, if I'm just working on my chest, you will start seeing that this muscle becomes tighter, right? So this will automatically start pulling in. So you'll start walking like this. So now how do you balance this? Work on the back. It'll pull it back.
You see a lot of bodybuilders walking like that.
Yeah, so you'll see bodybuilders having their arm here. They're not able to we all make fun of them, right? Saying that this is how they work. It's not because of that. The muscle structure becomes so big for them that they're not able to stretch out completely. It's so tight. But here's another aspect. There are bodybuilders who are above 200 pounds, 300 pounds, who do splits, who do full flexibility. It's the way that you train. The end of the day, it comes down to how you train. Most of them will stretch, but if you want to make it more, you stay for a longer time. Do the stretch. Flexibility as a portion. Now, most people do stretches like this. 5 seconds. Your body takes 10 seconds to realize you're stretching. So yoga, if you look at it, each pose is held for at least 20 to 30 seconds. You will see the greatest change in flexibility when you do yoga. Why is that so? It's not rocket science. You're just keeping a muscle pulled or for a longer duration. It's like saying, take a new balloon. It's crumpled up like this. Blow it up and leave it for some time. It'll expand and stay that way. Same thing with your muscles. Hold a stretch for at least 20 to 30 seconds. Third part of it, try doing foam rolling. Foam rolling is such a brilliant thing. It's not like most people would think. It's not stretching the muscle. It's just providing one. If you've done a serious workout, there is some amount of lactic acid in there. There is some amount of residues. It's bringing in blood back. Blood is your healing factor, right? The more blood flow that is there, the healing happens faster. So when you do foam rolling, one is the fascia. It's the sheath that covers a muscle. That is stretched out, giving the muscle enough space to stretch. Second aspect, you bring in more blood. That helps you heal. That helps you recover. Increase your protein intake. Now, when I say protein intake, do not start off on protein shakes, this. Your natural protein intake is good enough. So Indians have been proven to have a very low protein in our diet. We are more carb rich. Having said that, I am not saying take it off. I'm not saying take off brown rice, take off white rice, do only chapati. It's adaptability, portion control. Increase the amount of fiber in your diet. Increase the amount of fruits and vegetables which gives out antioxidants in your body. It reduces free radicals. That will help you recover. The more you're able to add all of this into your daily lifestyle, you will stay injury free. You will build strength. You will improve over a period of time.
Mostly in a gym setup, it's like you work out, you come back, and that's all is done. But the nutrition plays a major role, as you say.
100%.
And apart from that, how much importance does recovery hold?
Excellent question. Now, I have people who say, I do flexibility, I do my stretches, I do my workout, but I'm still tired the next day. Look at your sleep. How many hours are you sleeping? Now, there are people who say, I sleep 10 hours. No, it's not required. And there are people who say, I sleep 4 hours. I wake up still fresh, right? Your body has a certain rhythm. It works so it has deep sleep, REM sleep, and it's all those aspects of it. Now, if I'm going into a place where saying I'm sleeping for 4 hours, and if I do this constantly over a period of time, someday it is going to affect you. Okay, when you're in your younger years, your body's recovery is much superior to what it is as you age because of certain things. What I would say is look at your sleep. If you're not able to recover fast enough, look at your sleep. Look at the duration of rest period that you're giving a muscle. So some people respond really well to 24 to 48 hours of rest per muscle group. So if you look at most personal trainers, they'll start you off on 3 days of training and 3 days of cardio. Why is cardio again added in between a weight training? Again, blood flow, removing the toxins out of your body. That and building up your cardiovascular strength, your endurance improves. So you will
So when you design a workout for a newcomer, so how would you put them through? Like give them enough recovery, just put only on one cardio or one strength, or how would you put it?
So as I mentioned, so here's what we start off with. Anyone who comes in new, we call this periodization of a workout. It goes from the basic to an advanced level, and the funda is the same for everything, right? So if I'm starting someone new, I would start them with maybe 3 days of weight training, and it's mostly a circuit format. So I'm working all the muscles. I'm not just doing one, and I'm not pushing the person to do 4 variations, 5 variations per muscle. I'm just going to start them off with 1 variation per muscle. So total calorie that's being expended will be slightly high because you're doing a full body, and you're giving them 48 hours of rest before the next session. So they usually recover, and you're doing more reps. You're not
following this pattern. You suggest that injuries are very less.
It shouldn't happen. See, injuries happen. Touch wood. Most injuries happen because of not understanding what to do. You should be able to take it easy. Give yourself that time. The other part of it is people want quick results. It's a lifestyle. You cannot say, I'm getting married in 3 months, I want to do a weight loss program now. You are going to get, or worst case scenario, you're going to look sick. Your skin's elasticity is
when
going
you
to
start too much of training, suddenly your face just loses
when you
the
do
charm.
when you do it in a short period of time. So when you do it in a short period of time, you will end up you're not giving enough of time for your skin's elasticity to come back. You're not looking at your nutrition. You're just looking at, I'm going to do 1 hour of walking, 1 hour of strength training, then I'm going to do 1 hour of yoga, 1 hour of Pilates in a day.
How do you even do so much? And you end up having a shoulder injury or a lower back injury or knee or ankle, like some part of the body is like gone.
Yeah. So this again comes back to balance. Now any muscle that moves has one is your prime mover and one is a supporting muscle, right? So if I have to do this muscle has to contract, this muscle has to stretch. If I have to straighten it back, this has to contract, this has to stretch, right? So if you want to keep your body injury free, you always work on both aspects of it. It's the simplest way I can put it. So you will see people doing leg extensions. How many of you do hamstring? And you will complain, my hamstring is tight. Correct. How are you sitting right now? The moment you sit, your legs are bent. It's in a contracted position through the entire day. So when you stand up, to compensate, your lower back goes forward. So all of your injuries come back to balance. Work on things that are weak. This is where I come back to saying work on things that are weak. If you have a job which requires you to sit, work on stretching the muscles that is mostly occupied. Now your glute is constantly stretched, work on strengthening it. Your lower back will run away. So those are things that I would say.
People work out with videos which are available freely online. So when it comes to recovery, do you really suggest to have a coach, or is it okay to just go ahead with a trainer that's available online?
So when you look at an online program, right, it's designed for a wide variety of people. Whoever designs a program would look at an intermediate and above. Okay, look at programs which are starting for beginners. Specifically look for those kind of programs. Look at reputed coaches and not Instagram celebrities, right? There are some very brilliant coaches. Look at research. See what works. Read up for your own self before going and contacting a trainer or looking up a program. What will it be that works for me the best? Only when you experiment will you know, right? But having said that, do not go for a high intensity on day one. Start for a beginner program, even if you're looking online, because today is a day I cannot say go find a trainer for yourself. We're not in that stage anymore. So I would rather say find a program for your fitness level. Understand your fitness level first, right? So the basic tests, if you go online and say basic fitness test, it'll give you a push-up, it'll give you a squat, it'll give you a plank. Do this. You will understand where you're. A squat gives you lower body strength, a push-up gives you upper body strength. So if you're not able to do certain things, take it back, step back. So choose a program that's suited more for you.
And you are professional in deciding people where their fitness levels are, like you can just look at them and suggest them?
No, we also do tests. So if I
Okay.
have a new client, the first thing that we do is we take in health history, we take in their workout history, we take in their lifestyle, we take in what kind of profession they are in. All of these take a big toll on the body. It's understanding what they do. So now let's say we have a DJ and we have a IT professional. Now both of these individuals are very different. Now a DJ is working at night, lack of sleep, he's standing through the entire session, and his sleep pattern is different. Now an IT professional is sitting in front of a computer through the day, he's sitting all day. So how do I program for them? So that is what we look at. And the fitness tests that we do are very simple for us to understand your body strength. What I gave you as the most basic is that upper body, lower body, core. There is more to it. So if you look at, we have something called functional movement, right? So we see how you move. Okay. There is functional movement screening. That's another certification done, FMS, for people, for us basically to understand what imbalances there are in a body. So if you look at any of those, you can go online and look up these things. You will automatically see which part of your body has an imbalance. You work on that bit of it. So when we start with a new client, we look at, one is FMS, how do you screen in that entire thing. If by chance it's someone who's been working out, we make them do a workout, we'll understand where their movement is lacking. We work on those aspects.
And for a person who has been injured and who wants to come back to workout, what would you suggest them?
Depends on the injury. Now, most people, like, there are three kinds of injuries, right? There's acute, that's something within 5 days. There's something that's chronic, that's developed over a period. There's something that's happening over, you just tripped. It's an injury. So depending on what injury it is, you work like that. So now say if it's something that's chronic, you figure out what the root cause is. Now most people today come to me with knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain. These are three concerns that come normally. Now knee pain, if you look at the functionality of the knee, you have extension, okay? So with your knee, you have something known as your IT band. Now most people who run will already say runner's knee, this is there. So it's just a tightness of a muscle which might cause the knee to move not in its natural pattern. So that is where stretching and foam rolling comes into play. Work on those things. If it still doesn't get better, then the next part of it is meeting a consultant, a doctor, then figure out what it is. Once you have an understanding of what is causing the issue, then you do the rehab for it. Okay? Now say you're just saying there's overuse. Now you're extensively doing something. Now shoulder pains, if my format is not right, if I'm moving my arm in a certain angle which it's not supposed to. So this is how your shoulder moves, right? Now, if the muscle is tight this way, it's going to rub the bone. It's going to cause you pain. We're sitting this way all day, right? Your spine, your vertebrae is like this. It's stacked one above the other. Now, if I'm constantly pushing my head and sitting this way, that entire structure is changed. Now, how do I correct it? Make it stronger. Sit back, tuck your chin in. Those are things. So each injury changes the way that
as you rightly said, it's not the 1 hour in the gym, but the 23 hours how you're going to be.
Sit straight. It's challenging, but sit straight. How difficult is this to sit straight? When I'm relaxing, even I go back into that. But the thing that I do is I come back and work on just putting my chin back, or when I'm doing my exercise, I work on those aspects which I feel is lacking. Like this period, because I was on the laptop and this one, my chin had gone off like this, and one day I saw the mirror and I'm like, okay, that's bad. Get it back. No professional is going to say I am 100%.
And recovery is age related?
It is age related. So if you're in your early teens to your 25, your body recovers faster. Once you finish 25, you tend to have muscle loss. So the recovery automatically does slow down. Your body's metabolism drops. That also adds to that. So what I would want to look at is if you're somewhere between 25 to 30 and you're starting your fitness journey, understand where you are at the present moment. Start with it.
You can't compete with an athlete or a sports person who
you can't. So that is something that you need to understand and move. So if you're looking at recovery, you change the kind of foods that you eat. Each age group, the food category also changes. You need to get your blood work done. This is something that most people forget. You need to get your blood work done. You need to understand what your vitamin D is at. You need to understand what your B12 is at. You need to understand if your cholesterol is high. You need to understand what is your testosterone level, what is your ferritin level. Now, most doctors do not have the time today to sit and discuss the entire thing with you. Find a nutritionist. Find someone who's understanding and will be able to explain that to you. Today we're at a date where a genetic plan can tell you what kind of workout would suit your body type, right? We can't see, if you have to look at what kind of muscles you have, there's only way earlier was muscle biopsy, and that too that during a workout. Even now I'm not saying it's 100%, but the thing that you can look at is it is something that will give you a guidance towards what would suit you. So we are at this level, why not utilize those things? Understand your body and move that way.
Picking the right workouts, right nutrition.
Perfect.
Leads to a no injury workout.
No injury and a longer sustaining lifestyle, yeah.
So there are so many fitness programs around us. What would you suggest as the best one?
Now, it's a wide spectrum. Each program has its own benefits, right? So now if you look at HIIT format, that has its own benefits. It works for a certain category of people. Zumba, it has its own, it's lively, it's more this one, someone likes that. There's something else which is with TRX, there's something else. So what happens over here is, if you mix all of this is when you get a proper format, right? Now if I'm doing only a dance based or an aerobic based format, you're lacking on strength. So if you combine something like a body weight training or a boot camp or a HIIT routine, that might adapt to that. Or you do gym and you do this. You add yoga to that. So you try and combine all these aspects to get you one fitness program. So I will not say that this one program meets all your requirements. What I would say is mix it up. That is the entire advantage of doing group classes, right? You have a wide variety.
But don't you think that leads to a lot of confusion to which one to pick and how much to do?
So simplest way to answer is do one program which will help you with your mobility and flexibility. Do one program which will help you with strength. Do one program which will help you with cardio. So that will keep everything. Maybe that's 3 days a week already. So one day, whatever you like, you add it in. So that is the thing. So when we've been actually looking at this from a different perspective. When we look, I worked with TrioFit and a few other agencies which handle group classes for a while. So what we saw was instructors themselves were doing one format of exercise, and they would be so into that program that they wouldn't look at the other programs, or they would want to, but the courses are expensive. A single day program of a fitness industry is about 18 to 20,000. A single day program certification, and most of these formats are within a one-day program. Your instructors are being trained in a one-day program. You need to understand that bit of it. If you look at a strength and conditioning coach, they have to work on themselves, they have to do their own program, they have to work for at least 3 to 6 months to develop something. So what we came up with when we saw this as a general problem with most trainers is, why not design something that can teach them all the aspects of this? Maybe in smaller bits, but make it as workshops, and that's where bootcamp theory came in. So we wanted instructors, our fraternity, to start understanding fitness as an overall program. We also wanted clients. Now, who's a fitness instructor? Someone who's been a common man and who's gone into fitness, right? Why don't you become? You don't need to become a personal trainer. Understand fitness, okay? Understand movement. Exercise is not something that's created, there's only these many exercises. If you understand movement, you can create an exercise. Over the period of time, that's how we built it. If you do not understand the basic anatomy and basic movement, you will not be able to be a good coach or a good student. So that's where the entire idea of bootcamp theory came in. And it was, we wanted to make it like an intensive wherein we do about 4 to 6 weeks, 8 hours to teach them these things. So we've broken up every aspect of it. So Mayur and myself, I think we've been sitting on it for almost 8 months. We've developed the program, but due to the lockdown, we couldn't take it off. But maybe next year we'll see.
But that definitely is a beautiful
Yeah.
concept where fitness is reaching many people with a complete aspect of understanding of the human anatomy. ಈ ಹೊಸ ವರ್ಷದ ಆರಂಭ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಫಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಗೋಲ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದೊಂದು ಅಚೀವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಥರ ಆಗಲಿ, ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಥರ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸುತ್ತಾ ರೋಹಿತ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ತಿಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಈ ಶೋನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ರೋಹಿತ್ ಅವರೇ.